You don't really know me. So why did you say that? Hi, welcome to another episode of Unlocking the Mind Behind Make More, Work Less. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on Unlocking Mind, we talk about another cognitive bias. And the reason why I have this show is so that we can better understand how our minds work, make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and of course, avoid certain cognitive traps. So for today's cognitive bias, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever experienced that scenario before where you stood there and then all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, you don't know me. You can't say that about me. Well, if you have, and I'm sure a lot of you have, it is because of the illusion of asymmetric insight. What exactly is that? That is when people perceive their knowledge of others to surpass the people's knowledge of themselves. We tend to believe that we think of somebody else and we know that person very well, based on just very, very little information. Whereas when it's done to us, we believe that, hey, wait a minute, you don't really know me because I'm a complex personality or I'm a complex person. So why does that happen? Well, it's that first impression. We tend to like to jump to conclusions because that's how our minds work. Our minds like to take up patterns and connect the dots so that we are able to assess information fast so that we don't have to relearn everything all the time. So once we see something, once we experience something, we kind of categorize people, things into different boxes that kind of give us that familiarity as to who they are, what they do. So therefore, when they say something, we go, oh, okay, well, they must be like a jerk, or, oh, they must be an amazing person. That's why after some first impressions or first encounters, we might go, wow, that person was amazing. He is a great person to get to know, lots of fun. And you come up with all these things and it's almost as if you know them. But when people start saying things and then all of a sudden they go, wait a minute, you don't really know me. And that's because we don't give it the time to really dig deep as to who they are, what they do, what they think, what they believe. And this actually occurs sometimes when you start assuming things and you say something and then that actually goes against what they think. They go, wait a minute. Who are you to say that? I didn't say that. So the thing is, that's what happens when we are jumping to conclusions or making judgments on people's first impressions. But that's why it's so important about first impressions and also important to maintain that kind of authenticity and also those qualities throughout so that we're not lying to each other, so that we're not deceiving each other. We need to be authentic, but we also need to acknowledge the fact that first impressions are very, very important. So the thing is, how do we avoid that? Well, instead of making comments or coming up with conclusions, we should rephrase what people say so that we don't misinterpret what people say just because we assume that's what they're thinking, because we've already put them into a category. If you think about sales, there's lots of occasions where I get bombarded with messages on my LinkedIn, on my Facebook, where people just go, hey, hi, how are you doing? I love what you do. Please join our webinar or please buy our product and all that kind of stuff. And I sit there like, wait a minute, you don't know who I am. How did you know that I want your product? How did you know that I want to sign up for your program? You didn't even ask me a question. You don't even get to know me. In fact, I don't think you even know who I am. So the thing is, we need to avoid doing that kind of stuff. We need to get to know each other so that we're not jumping to conclusions or making judgments on each other based on that first impression. We need to start making those connections, having that time of day to build a rapport and understanding where that person's coming from, their history, their past, their culture, and all that kind of stuff so that we can actually build that relationship. So that is how we could avoid the illusion of asymmetric insight. And hopefully you enjoyed this episode on Unlocking the Mind. And if you did, please go back and watch some of my other episodes on Unlocking Mind. And of course, we have a lot of other shows, the Peak Potential Success Show, the Mastermind Bites, and of course, the Make More Mind Bites sits up every single week. So until next time, thank you very much for your likes, support, and your comments and your subscriptions. I love seeing those comments. And until next time, today is the day to lock your peak potential. I'll see you later.